front, left, front, left, front, left, front.
Hello, everybody. Title screen of The Warlock of Firetop Mountain by Glenn Zinho, or Glenn McCall. This is a map for Doom 2 that was made somewhat recently, I think like in the past few months, or there were much older versions, and then there was a version of it, an update for it was released recently onto the Doom World forums. So apparently this is an adaptation of an old fighting fantasy game book that was written by Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone, the two guys who founded Games Workshop. It was like, so I don't know, you can read all about that, fighting fantasy books and so forth. They were kind of like these RPG books. And so the story with this map is that the author read that book back in the day, I guess maybe back in the 80s or something, and then sometime during the 90s sketched out a map of the world described in that book, and then tried to make a Doom map of it, and succeeded partially or something, and then returned to it many years later and produced the map that I'm going to be playing here. So that's kind of an interesting story. I think one thing I like about it is that it's, something that was described in a book, and so it's this rendering into 3D, into lo-fi, doomish 3D space of this thing that was like a weird like RPG setting or something. I don't actually know anything about the book, or even much about the fighting fantasy books, but yeah, so that's kind of interesting. And I thought this map was cool and did some neat things. So let's just jump into it. You start off and you're down in this kind of thing, and you can see that you're outside under the sky, and you've come from the blackness beyond the map. So let's just get into it. There's going to be a lot of fighting and combat and stuff here, so I don't know if I'll be able to talk very well in the thick of it. So I really like this, where they give you some easy enemies to knock down, and then these demons come pouring over the hillside. I thought that was just like a nicely choreographed thing. The audio is really drowning out the thing. Okay, that's all right. I had this turned up to. All right, I'm gonna leave the music up relatively high, just because it usually provides kind of a nice ambience. Maybe we'll turn it down a little. when I'm full screen like this, I don't have access to the stream. Okay, so hopefully this is a little more tolerable. Yeah, and I can shoot demons and such. How is it now, folks in the stream? There's a slight flicker on the video. Oh, drat. This is what I was running into when I was streaming with Liz last weekend. Okay, let's do this then. It seemed to go away when I went to not full screen. No, that's too small. Don't force aspect ratio. That just about works, I think. Okay. Alright, let's do that. And not spend much time faffing about picking. Okay, so, yeah, as you can see, yeah, we've got these demons to deal with. And in fact, there's a lot of enemies to be dealing with because we are outside of what I assume is Firetop Mountain. And it's really big. It's made, they're using some advanced Doom source port features here. This terrain is like this kind of sloping organic thing. It's still quite lo-fi, you know? But yeah, it's this big old mountain. And there's a lot of enemies up on this mountain and in the area surrounding it. So yeah. There's like a big embankment sort of thing. Trooper and sergeant enemies. Abandon all hope ye who enter here, it says. And there's some bars leading into a mine shaft type thing. Let's go and grab this armor. Armor, very important in Doom. Uh-oh. Wait, what just happened here? Wait a minute, how did I lose... I don't have a shotgun anymore. Oh, I'm out of shotgun ammo. That'll do it. Yeah, so, alright, so, huge map. Got some of these hit scan shooter enemies high up on this mountain, and they can still damage you from a long way away. And so, yeah, there's just like all these foresty type bits around this big mountain, a whole bunch of imps just kind of harassing us from a distance. But imp fireballs don't hit you instantly, and so we can just kind of leisurely mosey around and avoid them. Still got to keep on our toes, but yeah. Now I've got the chain gun. So yeah, that's one thing about this. The weapons are a lot of relatively important weapons are just kind of distributed around, you know, effectively outside the map, really. Yeah, and you can just kind of wander around and gather these weapons. So that's kind of an interesting pacing choice. It kind of feels like the overworld of an RPG, where you're slowly gathering up stuff. So yeah, and there's like a pit sort of thing here, like sloping down to the water, and then we find that we can go underwater. And there's a bunch of lost souls underwater. I'm not sure why that is, but it's cool. And I grabbed a Berserk power-up just because it's very valuable. It restores your health, but it also gives you, for the rest of the map, the ability to Berserk punch people. Very powerful melee attack. It's a little hard to use against these large groups, although it's always tempting to. Yeah, it jigs them. Which is, of course, one of the funnest things. Always be jigging. Yeah, and I'm just kind of toying with these guys right now, but they do gang up on you. You can see from the green projectiles that there are some Hell Knights up on that, up on the cliffside there that are throwing some green fireballs at us. They're always they're ones you gotta watch out for. They'll mess you up. Pay attention to them. So yeah, lots of very sparse crowd control going on out here. Out here outside the mountain. Let's keep moving. Eventually, we're going to make a circuit. I played this map once before. Another super shotgun. So yeah, we can see that there's like all kinds of things up on this mountain. The author has made a nice like, I don't know, rendered terrain skybox type thing with a big moon and stuff. So it's a cool like take on a sort of a mysterious fantasy setting. And I like the music too. Like, I don't know, there's something. It's doing some interesting things. Got a chain gunner to deal with. Oh my! There's like a billion. There's a million billion super weak rifle and shotgun enemies here. So, yeah, I don't know if the monster placements in this map like correspond with stuff from the actual Fighting Fantasy book. Like maybe this corresponds with like, you know, a mob of enemies or something that you encounter. I don't know the book, so you know, I'm not actually sure about like from whence some of these creative decisions came, but they're certainly interesting. So I'm actually playing this on a lower difficulty level, just because when I played it on Hurt Me Plenty, I found it to be good, but it did kill me, and there's some definitely rough spots. And I figured since we mainly just kind of want to look at this map and take in all the interesting stuff that it does, that I'd play it in whatever the second level below, whatever the second difficulty level, one below Hurt Me Plenty is. So yeah. And so yeah, there's these signs that lead us up the mountain, following a little breadcrumb trail of health potions. And now we're up on in the bluffs, I guess. Arachnotrons are, of course, really great for getting them to infight because they lay down a very high volume of shots, so while they're a big danger to you, you can also train them on other enemies really easily. We've got some demons here. Yeah, there's a whole cache of foes back there. We'll wait for them to come out and see if we can get the... yeah, here we are from the top, and this is where we're coming from. That was us down there. So the map just really has a scale that is fairly rarely seen in even modern Doom maps. And yeah, this polygonal or slope sector terrain is definitely kind of weird. Like, it's kind of easy. Like, you'll run into a slope that, yeah, like I just can't walk up that, and I'm sort of vibrating against it. So it's kind of weird and inconvenient to climb. But I don't know. Kind of makes it feel like more like a wild setting. I like these tree sprites. Give the sense of, you know, you're in light forest or scrub forest sort of thing. And yeah, we're feeling very foresty here. So yeah, now we've come roughly full circle to the feature that we kind of saw on our way up. That's where we came in right there. And oh, that's just interesting. On Hurt Me Plenty, there are these guys up here are actually, it's like 2 or 3 revenants who are launching missiles at you. So map definitely gets easier. These guys I don't have to worry about so much. Yeah, I almost just kind of leave those guys. I mean, that's the weird thing about this outdoor area is that, like, the incentive to kill any individual weak enemy is actually quite low.